Good afternoon. It is June 29th, 2026. You're listening to a Little Column A, Little Column B, hosted by Will Alimonos and co-hosted by Zach Bishop. How are you doing today, buddy?
What is going on, Will? Disaster in California. A man, he drops his sunglasses. He's at a campground. He drops them in the toilet. He says, I'm not letting him go. He tries to get them. What does this lead to? It leads to a call to the fire department. The man was stuck in the septic tank for 15 minutes before they were able to fish him out. Disaster. Does this open a new fear that this is a possibility that when you leave your house and you try to just have a good time, that some bad things can happen?
Are you encouraging people not to leave the house? Is that the moral of the story here? How important are sunglasses? Prescription sunglasses I get. I need them. I can't see without them.
I think in this situation, they're gone. They're gone. You have to figure out something else. You need new glasses. Even if it's a 1% chance of this happening, that risk is too high. You'll never be clean again. Never.
Never.
And yeah, maybe this is just going to be my summer intro. It's just reasons for people to stay inside. Last week, you didn't seem too concerned about 2 million bees on the loose because you said, well, they can't get in my house, so I could just stay in. And I guess in this situation too, well, you can't fall into the septic system if you don't leave your house. So maybe that'll be the lesson. We'll see if I make it 3 in a row next week.
I don't think bees are as aggressive as you think. If you poke the bear, yeah, it might come after you, but they got other things, priorities. They're not interested in attacking you. Only if you're a threat. Are you a threat? Are you a threat to the bees?
I am always a threat.
Oh man,
I am always a threat.
I don't know. I think I'm leaving you open still. I don't know. We'll let you shoot.
Always a threat. Almost like some of these basketball teams this past week.
They all seem to think they're a threat, and then even the ones that aren't a threat, I have a reason to let everyone know we think we're a threat. All of a sudden, is anyone actually a threat after all of this? Is any team specifically stand out? There's a ton of moves. We're going to get to all of them. We're going to talk draft talk. We're going to talk trades, NBA free agency, a lot of NBA talk. But who feels like an actual threat today?
I'm going to just twist your words just here a little bit. The biggest threat are the Bucks and the Heat, who made this trade hours after we did our podcast. And the only thing that would have been worse is if they had done it immediately afterwards. I think you had already gone to sleep. It was right before I went to sleep. I was frantically following it on Kalshi. I'm on that website way too often now. And I had saw that all of a sudden it just absolutely spiked. Cool. I had said it was going to be Tuesday morning because I thought that would be the most inconvenient. But no, they are the threat to our podcast. Now, luckily, NBA is awesome. And everyone's talked about that trade. So that's a little bit older. But since then, we've gotten way more trades. I thought we'd get a bunch on the on draft night. I feel like there's been more independent of the draft than any time I can remember before. I'm not sure if this has to do more with the first, second apron, all the more of the rules. So the free agency isn't as much. So, but we've had a real flurry of movement that hasn't even included Jaylen Brown, who we discussed at length last week and probably the week before, and now there's rumors about Kawhi Leonard. So it might not be the end of the trades that we've already seen.
There's more coming. Let's talk about a couple that I thought were some of the hot ones. The Hornets are hitting the reset button, essentially. Whatever momentum you thought they built last year, not anymore. LaMelo for Naz Reid, yeah, we'll do that. Miles Bridges for Grayson Allen, all right, yeah. Drafted Heinz Steinbach and Christian Anderson. Now they got money to sign Kobe White. All right, this is the new 2.0, whatever point oh, Charlotte Hornets. Are they a better team?
I don't think so. I don't think they are. It's because they're the Hornets. If this was another team, I might have said, okay, you had some success, but you're not letting that get away from you and realizing success for you as the Hornets is not success for a good chunk of the league. You made the play-in, awesome. It's like, okay, can you make the next jump up? And I think some of it was, especially the second half of the year, that the team played well, and it was a well-liked team. I mean, there was at one point, I went on a little mini rant going, how is this team collectively likable? If you pull all the individual pieces out, like there's almost something to nitpick with every single one of them. Half of it being, or maybe not half, but some of it being funny on the court stuff and then some very serious off the court stuff. So for them to make this pivot, I don't see them being better. I see them being a little bit worse, but maybe the idea is that they're going to have a sort of a launching pad. They are getting some picks in with this. They are going younger. They are going cheaper. I mean, I was pretty surprised listening to Bill Simmons and Zach Lowe on their podcast from yesterday, and Bill threw out, and Zach kind of agreed with them about how you'd want the Charlotte team and their treasure trove of picks for the next 7 years. It's like, guys, you realize it's still the Charlotte Hornets here. I mean, I like Khan as much as the next guy, but that seemed crazy for the next 7 years that the Charlotte Hornets, with what they have, is the cream of the crop in the East.
I think it's challenging to say they were validated by these players last year by being in a play-in game and then say they're worse without them. They either have value or they don't have value. I think they got rid of the baggage, if you ask me. I don't think the ceiling they reached with LaMelo and what they got in exchange for LaMelo is the best thing LaMelo has done for Charlotte, in my opinion, was this trade value return. I think it was a lot, actually. I think it was the peak of his value, and we'll talk about what it does for Minnesota, but I think for Charlotte, it is now Khan's team. This is now going to put a lot more pressure on Brandon Miller, and these guys are going to have a chance to sign up for all of this. And I think that's a better team in the long run, or at least I think this team could be built better than whatever last year was. Well, while it was amazing chemistry, I don't think it was a real team. And it's like, what is the one piece you would do to last year's team? It's like, you got to move on from one of these guys. These are the guys they moved on from. Now, I agree with the distraction stuff of, Miles Bridges certainly has his own issues off the court, but that's in the past, and the LaMelo distraction certainly feels a little bit more in the past. But I just don't like the way. I just don't like his shot selection is really what I will worry about for Minnesota. What else would you worry about in Minnesota? And if you were now the Ant Edwards, LaMelo Ball Minnesota team that is getting smaller by the minute. They used to be the Minnesota Towers. They're not so big anymore.
The jokes online about driving were just rampant. You're playing down in Charlotte. Now you're going to Minnesota. Oh no, this guy's gonna be driving where there's much more likely snow to be in the mix. So all the jokes there. Everybody had a fun time there. I think Naz Reid was really well liked. So to make this move, I do like it for Minnesota.
Ooh.
Just because they're making a big swing. They got OKC. They got the Spurs that are ahead of them, and so they need something. They need punch up on offense. This is the direction they're going in. I think that this is a high risk, high reward play, and there's probably a more likely situation that this thing ends up burning your house down, but there's also a chance that this is the two guys together, both young, both very much in their prime, could get you to that next level.
I think this is just Minnesota being the greater fool constantly. All right, every player that no one will ever trade for him, they'll never do anything, no one will ever give up that much. The Rudy Gobert trade alone, I mean, how many examples do you want? They trade for Cat. Like, there's just move after move after move. I feel like they take loss after loss, and they just do these crazy counters to make up for it. The not re-signing Nickeil Alexander-Walker and then trading for Ayo Dosunmu, giving up something, and then giving him essentially the same money, and then trading for LaMelo the next day. I mean, are these smart moves? Like, I feel like the Charlotte ones feel calculated. It seems like there's a direction, there's a good foundation. I think they're just scrambling in Minnesota. This just feels like you're grasping for pieces, as well as everyone else in the league is getting bigger, and this team chose to get smaller and just have their guard be bigger. I don't. Who doesn't play big? Like, do you think LaMelo plays like like? I know he's tall, but he doesn't play.
I don't think that he plays. I don't think he plays a bit bigger, but I think that his impact on the players around him is definitely a positive. It's not him coming in and now you're going to look at it and go, okay, well, we did some moves, but he's going to take this much away from Ant and he's going to have to fill in for this much. It's just, I think he's going to raise the play of the people around him. Now, is he able to do that for an entire season? Is he able to going to be a hold up with the injuries, playoffs? That's going to be something that's going to have to be looked into. But I think you have to remember, this team just got bought. It took a while, but now we are in the new owner, and we love it, the new owner syndrome. So I think it's fair to say that this is part of it. And as a new owner, you're looking at who's the most popular guy in the NBA, and probably still Steph. LeBron's still very popular, but LaMelo, with the kids, everybody knows LaMelo. So I don't know if that's part of it. Is it not necessarily the most winning or most for sure way to win, but you're going to be winning because your stadium is going to be full and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a fun brand of basketball.
Minnesota was not in the NBA Finals. Maybe they didn't watch it because it was pretty physical. And if you ask me, LaMelo is the last guy I would want. If anything, I think Charlotte looks like they're more built for a playoff run than what Minnesota is doing. They might have a better regular season. Minnesota is definitely a more talented team at the moment. But when it matters, and when he started advancing to these other teams that they're going to have to go up against, you're going to be running highlights from the regular season, that one 60-point game that LaMelo had. And that's not what this team should be going for. This team should be going for championships, not TikTok views and not getting smaller.
I mean, it is, we are in between eras, but they have made the Western Conference Finals twice in recent memory. So something that they're doing, and you could say, oh, that's Anthony Edwards, and you could say that they're headed in the wrong direction. But this is a team where you're talking about Charlotte, and now all of Kemba Walker's records are safe. The Hornets records, because LaMelo left, and even the minuscule success that they had, it was all coming towards, like, when was the last time they were successful? It's like Kemba Walker, and then like before that, you can even go back even farther. So I think I'm going to, even with new ownership, I think I'm going to trust what the Timberwolves are doing more than what the Hornets are doing.
I think Charlotte will be a better team next year, and we might need some playoff games.
Better team?
Yeah.
How are you measuring that?
I think they'll both be playing teams, and that Charlotte might actually get out of it, and that Minnesota will not. I think it's a bad move.
So I think that kind of, I was trying to line it up with with it just wins, and then it's like, well, one plays in the East, one plays in the West. So I think I'm looking at it right now. The Timberwolves are fifth on the list to make to win the finals. Obviously, this is gambling, so obviously they got other stuff that's baked in. So this isn't like the best way of doing it. But I mean, the Hornets are, they're towards the bottom.
If they both end up being an 8 seed and getting bounced, what's the difference?
No, and that's fair if that's what happens. I'm just saying, for right now, people where they're putting their money is saying that the Timberwolves are a much better team. They have Anthony Edwards. I think just having Ant just on its own, puts you a step above. Not even to mention, you're not a Rudy Gobert fan, but you have an anchor to your defense, and now you just brought LaMelo in.
I like those arguments. The best guy we could put with Rudy and the best thing you could put with LaMelo or each other, I think that makes sense. I just don't know if that's the best guys I would put around Ant. I'm going to put a guy around him that's going to take the ball out of his hands. It's going to take more bad shots. And then it's also more built-up pressure because it still doesn't really bail out Rudy. I mean, what is Rudy doing all of this? The anchor's great. The offense, where does that come from? Because they just lost Julius Randle as well. They just keep losing offense and offense.
That was not more interesting. Obviously, a Giannis trade, it takes all the air out of the room. But they didn't so much trade Julius Randle. They salary dumped him. They gave him and a pick to basically get a pick back, and just said, we are done with him. I mean, it seems to bring in LaMelo, but I mean, if you're talking about bad shooting, I mean, Randle didn't take the best shots, so you're going younger. But oh boy, Randle is in a tough spot. I think it was Big Cat said on X. It's like, I think it's kind of mean that you trade Randle and basically, like I said, salary dump him to the Nets, so he's going to be playing in the city where he played for the Knicks but was traded, and then they just won. He's like, I think this might be some sort of cyberbullying.
It's something. It's also the exchange of, all right, what did we get for Cat again? The guy that just won the championship? We had him. He was on our team, right? Oh, we got Julius.
I mean, you can play this. Cat has one decent run in the playoffs that he's never done before. If anything, he has been an absolute negative in the playoffs. And so the trade at the time, like, we can go back and relitigate it. And Zach Lowe says, well, every trade is an A+ if you win the championship, sure. But I mean, it was this year they're doing the looking at the worst contracts, and Cat was on it. So I think if you're going to look at everything in that in the lens that you're looking at, I think it's going to be hard to have an honest conversation.
All right, I like the deal for Charlotte. I really like Christian Anderson. I think he's actually going to get some run now. That's exciting for the rookie. And you like it for Minnesota. I'm not saying it's impossible. They're not going to be like, out of the playoffs, so they'll be relevant. I just don't think they're
It just seems like Minnesota made a win now move. They're taking a big swing, and it seemed like Charlotte got a little taste of success and almost got scared of it and said, "Well, if we need to perform right now, we're not quite ready for that. Like, okay, let's take a step back. Let's reset it. Hey, everybody, don't be thinking playoffs. We're young. We're young. We got a future. Maybe we can make the play in." And it's just kind of resetting the goalpost. It seems like.
Well, you didn't really talk enough cons of Knipple. He didn't look very good in the playoffs, and that was with the ball in his hand a little bit more.
Two games?
He's going to have the ball in his hands a lot more this season. He was a little bit more off ball last year, and it's some of my favorite plays watching him off ball. Are you a little worried that he's going to have the ball in his hands maybe a little bit too much this year? Or do you think he's ready for it?
I'm not worried about that. He's a rookie, or he was a rookie. Made it to the next level, and then it keeps coming up of LaMelo didn't play that great, and we're not sure about him in the playoffs. And then we follow up with like, well, Khan, he also, it's like he's a rookie and he played in 2 games. Like these are playing games. I would for sure have liked him to play better, but I think a 2-game sample size as a rookie, I think that is you're really putting him in a difficult spot. I'd say him having the ball more, I think that's just going to be better for his development.
It'll be interesting. I'm not denying it. It's a lot of pressure. It's the investment I would make, though. It's the direction. I think he's good enough that let's see what we got here. I think that's a great move, and I think having Kobe White for 60% of LaMelo on the price is fine. I'm not against it. Who you would be against that? Like,
what do you think? What do you think about Charlotte making moves just to get more North Carolina players, that played in college in the state, just back? Do you think that's like on purpose, or do you think that there's just a lot of them and that's just a coincidence?
I think it's coincidence. I think it'd be really hard to intentionally do that. You're just limiting so much. I mean, you're not. I guess Duke.
Do you think it's more of just like almost like a fun joke where it's just if there's a Cooper Flag and just is like, oh well, white superstar, like, okay, when's he gonna end up on Boston sort of deal where it's just. Do you think Charlotte could steer into this a little bit, and then it's just kind of you played for UNC or NC State or for Duke? It's like, we got a spot for you. Come on over.
What is weird is that apparently now that is effective, and all of the years of Michael Jordan, UNC alum, not effective apparently to pull off that strategy. Is that more concerning?
I think that we learned and we knew for a while that Michael Jordan being the owner of a basketball team, it was not successful. Seems to be much more successful as an auto race owner.
All we do is win. There were other moves, other trades. Let's start with today's most recent trade. The Grizzlies are moving on from Ja Morant. He is going to Portland for Jeremy Grant. Memphis has also acquired Isaiah Stewart. They drafted Cameron Boozer at 3 and Kareem Lopez at 21. They're making moves. Are we a better team?
Maybe Portland is better. I think I'm going to put this closer to the Minnesota area of this is a bigger swing. This is not going to make them contenders. But, I mean, Ja Morant, his value was just absolutely on the floor. I'm hoping a change of scenery. It's not like he's old. There's been some injury concerns, but I just don't know how much of that is just Grizzlies were tanking. Off the field was bad. Like this was one of the ones that I continually brought up to you, like, hey, when is this going to happen? It finally happened. He's getting out of there. They didn't really have to give up that much. I don't think they kind of paid Jeremy Grant because they had to pay somebody, but it's not like he's like really been doing that much. So to give up just that, I think it's worth it for a swing. If you can just get some of what Ja Morant brought. I mean, we're talking LaMelo. I mean, Ja was also in that mix of young, up-and-coming star, and it just has gone off the rails. But I think that the skills are still there. So I think maybe Dame can take him under his wing a little bit and kind of, be the veteran, and Ja's the guy on the court, but Dame's the one kind of off the court, making sure that he's not doing just silly things.
Is that all it would take? I actually think this is kind of constructed where all these guys can just take as much time off as they want between Dame, Drew Holiday, Ja Morant, Scoot Henderson, Denny Avdia. I don't know. One guy's taking a night off every night. There's no way they're all playing. They can't all play. That's the only interesting thing of all of this is that I know they wanted to get rid of Jeremy Grant at pretty much any cost at this point, and this was the cost that it would take. I think it's just ironic they just have so many guards. But you think they'll ultimately keep all this, or this is a sign of more deals to come for Portland?
Drew is older. I mean, even when Dame before his injury, I think we're kind of like maybe misremembering. Like there wasn't a ton there, so I don't expect a lot out of Dame. Scoot, I don't know. Obviously, I'm not watching a lot of lot of Portland games here on the East Coast, but I think this would be Ja's job, and everybody else would have to figure it out around him.
Well, maybe Scoot and Denny are kind of more ideal bench players, anyways. I mean, Denny was an all-star, I think, this year. He certainly, as an improved player, I think it's a little bit more opportunity usage than quality, but perhaps their ideal situation on a good team is that they're bench players, and this is the only way that they're going to let them. They're going to have to get the team's going to have to get better for them to move over there to the bench. Maybe this is smart.
So who would you start?
I think Dame, Ja, Drew are some combination of that's going to start because I don't know.
Okay. Gotcha.
I don't know who they're going to start at the 3 right now either. They have Sharp, they have Klingon, they've got some they got some other bigs. They got Yang. Who is the forward left on the team is a little funky. Jeremy Grant, as expensive as he was really filling a need on this roster. Kamari is going to be the 3, but again, offensively, Kamari is lacking, and that's being nice.
Yeah. Yep. For sure.
So I think there's theoretically a stellar defensive lineup here, but again, the teams you're going to be going up against, they put up points. I like it for Memphis, though, ultimately. We're moving on where Ja was just going to be nothing but a negative. There was nothing positive I think you could have out of this year, and it was only going to take away from the opportunity of everyone else. I like this Cameron Boozer, Edey backcourt. That's interesting. I think Boozer is a little undersized, and there's certainly a weakness to that, but if you pair him with somebody who doesn't have that problem, even slightly, and also his mobility might be slighted, and Cam Boozer's is obviously a little bit more enhanced. It's an interesting combo. I don't hate it. It's not something I would have ever dreamt up watching March Madness every March, but who would have thought that?
And this totally made sense. Where different from the Charlotte of, hey, we're gonna kind of reset. Where it's like, hey, guys, sure. Seems like you could just run it back, maybe a couple tweaks here and there, and you could be talking about getting into the playoffs, which for them, awesome, good. That's a step in the right direction for them. Where the Grizzlies, they had their 3 guys. They'd already traded Bane. They traded Jaren Jackson. So this was the last domino to fall, and they're resetting it. They got a young team. They just got the 3rd pick. So makes sense for them to just get whatever they can. There's probably a decent chance that these guys get moved somewhere else as they go. But I think it's good. They're bringing in beef stew. But it sounds like the Memphis fans, it sounds like they're excited for just a clean sweep. Just talk about having a young, fun team that just exploded and fell apart.
The home run was Cedric Coward last year that just kind of comes out of nowhere for everybody. That's are we calling him a former Dookie, or is he? No, that doesn't count. Almost.
I feel like
honorary.
It would be disingenuous if I claimed him. I think you're the one that has to make the rule on this, not me.
I don't think he counts. I think it's a fun hypothetical though. This is like, yeah, Kobe would have went there too if he had any interest.
See, no, this is where it's different. He committed. He committed and went to the draft, and then decommitted once they found out once he had an amazing.
That's a little
different than. Yeah, that's a little different than, oh, if I was going to do it, this is what I would have done. It's like, no, it did happen, and you did, and there's at least from mine, like there's no hard feelings. It's a fun like, that probably would have helped, but it makes sense of the goal is not to play college basketball. The goal is to play in the NBA. So if you get your chance, go for it.
All right, we had other moves. You mentioned Giannis. The Heat, they got him. We didn't get him. Boston didn't get him. We screwed up. I'm not even actually blaming Boston. I can't believe Milwaukee took this package. I just can't believe it. And then I'm just going to rant all over my
Their
Milwaukee right now.
draft.
The draft's terrible. They took the only two guys that I was like, don't take these guys. And they like traded up and all of they have so many opportunities for them. And they took the two biggest headaches that are going to be huge projects on a team that it's not going to be relevant. I I hate everything about it. I know you didn't want to trade Jalen, but this was a bad deal for Milwaukee. They should have taken the Jalen deal. I think it was so much better of an offer. I can't believe they took this Tyler Hero based contract with a whole bunch of other nothing. Khalil Ware, whatever. I hate the deal. Good for Miami. They robbed this, if you ask me. I think that offer is trash. There's a reason they thought about it for a whole year. I don't think they got anything out of it. Giannis will probably return to Milwaukee and maybe retire there his last year, and that'll be the next relevant Milwaukee game in, I don't know, 7 years, 8 years? When do you think that'll be?
It's gonna be a while because I mean they got picks coming in, but they're coming from Miami. I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult than it was in the past because with all the odds flattened, there's just more likely that a team that just missed the playoffs, which could be a Miami in a few years, like that could happen. Where in the past it would be like, what do you want Miami picks for? Like they're never going to bottom out. But now we're in a weird spot of you actually don't want one of the worst teams. You want the like sort of bad team. So it's going to be kind of hard to thread the needle. But I think the Bucks. I think I guess they waited too long. It's still such a bizarre situation of what we're hearing from ownership, what we're hearing about Giannis from Giannis. I mean, at the trade deadline, he posted right afterwards, the Wolf of Wall Street meme, GIF, like, I'm not going anywhere. It's like you're the one that wants out of here. And I think that the Bucks, I think they exhausted all possible opportunities to try to get him another title, to bring guys in. They made a big swing on the Dame trade for Drew. That didn't work out. I think at the time everyone thought it was going to work out. Didn't work out. They then had to waive and stretch Lillard so then they could bring in other guys. So I think that they did everything they could. It's just at a certain point, you run out of assets. And if you miss a few times, and with Giannis getting hurt, you miss out on some runs. And this is just where you were. And so at some point, you just have to take the best deal possible. And I think that this was the best deal possible. I think that the Celtics knew they had the better, star player in this and said, we're not adding anything else. Like, this is it. Like, we're not desperate. You're not going to catch us chasing. And, oh man, like we can have Giannis. And all right, so yeah, I guess we will do one more pick and we'll do a pick swap. I was like, nope. You want that Miami deal? You take it. You take that.
I mean, Jalen and Giannis's value is somewhat equivalent, more or less. Let's just say that. If we traded Jalen for that, what would you say?
Jalen for Giannis, or you Jalen for that platter?
That Miami Heat boo boo platter.
Oh,
yeah, that's how Milwaukee should feel.
Like, no, that'd be awful.
It's not good. And then the draft picks: Braden Burries, Nate Ament, man.
I did hit Burries my Nate Ament outside the top 10. That was plus 220.
I hate it. All right, other draft day surprises. Dallas goes with Morez Johnson, passing on the other Michigan prospects in Yaxel and Mara. How much is the coach's influence on the draft? Seems like a whole lot. Not how I would have rearranged it, but did he get it right? Like he would know.
That's where this is the perfect opportunity, and especially if you were between a few guys and at least two, if not all three, were in the mix, and you have the guy that coached them in college and was able to have like the most inside look. I mean, this is the way to do it. You are way higher on Yaxel than I am. Way higher. This guy is super old.
Well, how old?
He's the same
he's
age.
65. I mean, what is he applying for retirement?
I'm saying he's the same. He's like the same age as Banchero. Imagine if Banchero was playing against college guys this year. He would be destroying them. He'd look like the most amazing college player you've ever seen. So I just think that when he gets to the NBA, he's not going to be going against guys that are 5 years younger than he is. It's going to be, oh shoot, these guys are all my age. Like this is going to be a real problem. I don't think he's going to be complete bust. But for him, I think you are just much higher. I think he continues and then you think he's older. He's got some more experience. And the first thing he says in the interview is like, yeah, kind of more of a Kyrie guy. It's like, I'm sure it was a joke. It's not like Steph really, I can imagine really cares about this. It's like, really? In the first interview, this is what you're going to go to? Like, you want to warm up to this, a little bit? Just seems like he's making mistakes for himself that are just going to make it harder than it needs to be.
None of that had anything to do with basketball. It's fine. It's all right. I think
Well, nothing to do with basketball.
I,
There's a lot of things here that we're discussing that don't exactly have to do with basketball.
I think Yaxel's rookie ceiling right now is that he's just John Collins on a rookie contract. And sure, that is what it is. That sometimes the rotation maybe starts on some teams. It's not great, but it's a rookie that could just be in the rotation like that. I think it's easy ammo, I think, for an older team, in which he went to Golden State is an ancient team, and they're going to get even older.
Quite possibly.
Their rumors are swirling. This seems like it's almost a done deal, but last week I would have said Jalen and Giannis was a done deal, and that didn't happen. But it sure seems like LeBron and Anthony Davis are heading to Golden State to play with the Axel. Yeah, they said that. I heard that. That's a quote. No, they're joining Steph. Draymond opts out.
I think he might have to be part of that. He might have to be part of that Anthony Davis deal.
Oh, you think so?
I get it. You have two guys won a bubble championship together. There's a lot of talk. They're older, all of them very popular. Everybody knows them. So this is like very juicy content. But LeBron would have to take less money. So that's one faction of this. Then the other thing is, like, the Wizards, I don't think are just going to give Anthony Davis away. Just be like, yeah, know what? You guys just run it back one last time together. You have a great time out there. And there's be like, yeah, cool. It's like, no. We traded for Anthony Davis. We gave up some stuff and he's still under contract. So if you want him to play for your team, you're going to have to give us an Anthony Davis size haul for him to play for you.
Oh, not Jimmy Butler. He's going to be out the whole year. Does he? That doesn't have Anthony Davis value, or maybe it does. Davis is going to be out the whole year, allegedly.
Is he?
Oh, not yet.
I don't know.
He's not going to play for Washington. All right, he's going to be out until he gets traded. So whatever you want to say, how you ever want to phrase that's what's happening.
I mean, he can play hardball with that, but I think the Wizards should then also play hardball.
I agree with you, but this scenario that takes a whole lot of it's going to take a lot of chips to be moved, all right, for this to even be pulled off. Also involves LeBron taking a pay cut. If he's going to take a pay cut, why is he going there? Like, does this actually make sense?
I guess we have to kind of decide, like, what is a pay cut? Where, I mean, I don't have his numbers up in front of you. I have to imagine like he's making the max or close to the max. So I guess technically, if he does not take a max deal, that is a pay cut. But I think a lot of people are thinking he might go in, if not maybe the minimum, just like really low deal. And I just don't think he's going to do that.
How the hell are they going to afford all these guys then? Because Davis gets paid. They got to trade for Davis.
Well, that's also Davis. Part of it too, is that Davis is looking for an extension. And he's looking for a max extension, which that'll be 4 years after this year, or after 2 more years. And he is not the youngest guy in the world. So I don't think the Wizards should do it.
Well, they just gave Trey it, which is another weird one. Well, I don't know why they did that. I don't know who they were competing against. I agree that, or I understand that it was probably agreed to when they traded for him, but I don't know. Did you have to? You think they had to? Like then they get the pick, and now they're shopping Davis. It's like, I don't know. Are you sure if the Davis deal goes through, do you not go back in time 2 weeks here, being like, why the hell did we give Trey this money?
Where you think you could just? I guess you could think like you just go younger, but you do need some veterans. And if you got all these these rookies that are all on rookie deals, a bad contract like they gave to Trey isn't the worst thing in the world. Where when you are these contenders, you can't mess around. You can't make these mistakes. But for them, it's all right. Well, gotta pay somebody, and they know all the inside information that we don't know on what's Davis's camp telling them. Are they being sort of threatened? Because I feel like I haven't heard anything out of the Davis camp in like 6 months.
I'm not sure what to expect. The rumors are swirling though. That's a hot one right now. Another interesting draft day decision. Oklahoma City chose all the projects. They go with Mara and Sturts. And the whole time it was like, well, what if we added blank to OKC? Wouldn't it just immediately be awesome? And I feel like they added like the only two guys that are like, yeah, it'll be fine, but I don't know if it's gonna be awesome. Do you disagree? Or is any of these guys that go to OKC automatically going to be relevant?
I I think they'll be relevant just in the fact that they're going to be on a contending team. So they're going to be on TV more often. You're going to hear about them more often, whether they're good or not good. You are also they're going to be just right smack dab in the spotlight. And for them going with Mara, it's like, well, you're getting a 7-footer. Like you're not going to be able to miss him if he's out there. It's just like, oh man, that guy's enormous. But he's also, I mean, he is a lottery pick, but he's a later lottery pick. So I just think if you are relying on him to be some sort of Wemby stopper, or now you've got the solution, like that is, I think that's unreasonable. But maybe you're able to put him in spot minutes this year, and it's more kind of down the road. He could work into something, but I don't think this year at 12, that's a guy that you just think like on a contender, ready to go.
I think Yaxel would have been fine. He wanted to pick before. On the counter of all of this, the Spurs got even bigger as well, taking the huge swing on Cadence. Jaden Cadence at 20, and then Terrace Reed at 26. Reed will hopefully be able to play this year. Cadence, it sounds like, more than likely going to be out most of the NBA season. He missed a lot of time in college. It was the reason he dropped. I think there's still value in here. Is it funny that this is the team that's getting him, though, that potentially, next season, not this upcoming one, the year later from now, you could have Wemby, Reed, and Cadence on the same team. I think that's something.
I,
Nothing?
I mean, sure. I just think Reed was a good college player. I don't really see him. I mean, it's different being the 26 versus the number 3 pick, but I think that he is undersized and doesn't have much more of the skills. Interesting, Denver seems like they are trying to shed salary at every opportunity. We make fun of the Portland owner being cheap, but seems like it's kind of the angle Denver's going for. I don't hate it from the Spurs point of view of they got to find the backup. And I think that Cornette did not get the job done in the finals. Doesn't mean he can't get the job done during the regular season and some of the earlier playoffs. I'm not even all the way sure that a healthy acquaintance would usurp Cornette this upcoming year. I think he's more of a project, and that's if he's healthy. But also, he's been hurt so frequently, I haven't really got a good look at him.
I think they're decent swings, though, for 2026. I think even if you hit 50% on this, that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. I also think it doesn't put a ton of pressure on, Cadence is probably going to be out most of this year. It's more of like a draft pick for next year that you've already kind of redshirt now. I think that's okay, too. There's no need to add everything immediately right now. And I think being able to add something maybe
And
next year like this.
how often is even a top rookie like able to get the job done? So you're exactly right. These are swings. These are going to be down the road. If they contribute, maybe there's some injuries and they are able to contribute during the regular season for a 2-week stretch. Like that's a bonus. That's an absolute bonus right there.
All right, let's talk the Celtics. We didn't do the Jalen trade. Seems like we're going to do a Jalen trade, but we also had draft picks. Sanak files to us at 27. We do Dylon Mitchell at 40. I was texting you during the draft being like, I think I like 7 of the next 8 potential guys left on the board for us. Like, I'm pretty much okay with just about anyone we take. And Sanak was one of the guys where it was fine. It was good value at there. I had my eyes on so many of the other guys, and we didn't take any of them. Should I be disappointed by Chris Sanak Jr.?
I don't think so. I think that we've shown that we are able to take guys late first, early second, and find a role for them. I think that's what we're going to have to do here. A little bit on the older side. He was a top 10 recruit for his drafts. Obviously, draft a little bit older. Things didn't exactly pan out. I do like taking guys from Houston because they have a good coach there. They play serious defense, so he's not going to come in and defense is just a foreign thing to him. Not much of a shooter. I think he doesn't take many shots, but I think that'll be where the organization we're going to see. Are we able to continue to do this of get a guy not known as a shooter and being able to make him at least serviceable? But again, just like we were talking about with the Spurs and with the Thunder. This is a late first round rookie on a contending team. I think he's going to be in the G League for most of the time. I think if there's injuries, maybe we'll see him, but this is not a guy we're going to be seeing much of this year.
Yeah, I agree with that. And there's still potential on here. He was on a very relevant Houston team. He's not nobody. I just would have liked to get somebody that we could have potentially put in the rotation occasionally this year, and I just don't think he's that. I think he's just not ready. And that's fine. Like, it was okay for the Spurs to do it. It should be okay for the Celtics to do it. I'm just selfish and wishing that we could just add more ammo to this year because I don't know what the next couple of days hold. Do you think Jalen's going to be on the team? I think he's going to be on the team. I don't think the deal's out there. I think very much like you told me last week, nobody's as good as Jaylen Brown. Numbers-wise, toughness-wise, he's impossible to trade.
These other teams have made moves. It's the offseason, so they kind of keep these open, and then you can morph them into 3 and 4, and you grease the skids and all the nerdy cap stuff. So you're able to do that. What I think has been interesting is both Celtics and for the whole league after the halfway point. So say 16 and later in the first round, every single pick was traded either before this or during the draft, except for the Toronto pick at 19 and the Celtics pick at 27. So since then, there have been a bunch of trades. There's been a bunch of rumors. It seems like we are at least shaking all of the trees and see if anything falls out. Honestly, nothing has happened yet. I mean, a lot better than Dallas with Luka of first guy that says, yeah, I think we'll do this, and just going, oh, okay. I've seen the odds go all over the place, but now Charlotte has made a big move. The Timberwolves have made a big move. It seems like we've said we're not interested in Jamal Murray, so the Denver news has kind of quieted down. Portland just makes that move for Ja, and so none of this means that it's not going to happen, but all the teams that I think have been kind of rumored, and you start kind of looking like, okay, this is kind of how the pieces could fit together, are now, they're less viable than they were before. I mean, for sure, you could package it and remove it on, but it's kind of a lot of, well, if you're able to do that, why would the original team just not do that?
My new proposal is next summer we trade Jalen for Anthony Edwards after they get bounced to the playing game. You can play LaMelo. Maybe Ant just wants out. This ain't working. Can't play with these guys. Give me LaMelo and Gobert. I don't like any of this. Give me Jalen.
I think that would be bold. I think it only comes into the mix if Ant demands a trade, because I don't think Minnesota wants him out of there. I think you have to remember through all of this, and you're just seeing this with the Bucks and what they got back, is if you trade Jalen just for quantity and not really quality, you're now chasing the opportunity to then try and get another Jalen level player back, where we have that right now. And for sure, there's some rough things, around the edges. And I feel like we haven't heard anything specifically from Jalen speaking on this, where we've definitely heard it from, whether right from their mouths or like very much is like, this is coming right from their camp about, hey, I don't want to be here anymore. I want you to trade me. We haven't heard that yet. Now, obviously, the Celtics know, people on the inside, they're going to know better. But I think it really simplifies, an NBA player. He's late 20s, so he's not brand new to this. He's been around for a while. That because there's been trade rumors, that just means that his feelings are hurt, and there's no way that he could ever play on this team ever again. It just seems like you're treating him like a little kid, where I just don't see how that. It could only go in one direction.
I think we have a different leverage with him not saying he wants to go. Once he says he wants to go, it's like, well, now I know he wants to go. I'm only going to offer you X. It's a timing thing. It also is sabotaging the current season right now, which hasn't begun, and we could still get that together.
That's what I'm starting to get a little bit concerned about, is it seems like whatever happens with Jalen has to be resolved, but we haven't made any other moves. So I'm assuming that we're moving on from Vooch, fine with that. But I have said I want to keep Jalen, but we got to make some moves around the edges to get us to just over that last hurdle. and we haven't done that yet. We didn't use our first round pick. We didn't use a future first round pick to either move up or to kind of get someone like a Derek White. So I'm just starting to get kind of nervous about that. And, maybe free agency there'll be something a little different, but I don't think we have a lot of cash that we can splash. As well as we've mentioned this a bunch of times. There's not this laundry list of opportunities there.
There's not a great list of free agents. Is really the challenge here. And then also, of all the moves traded, is there anyone you wish we got involved in? Like, do you wish we had Miles Bridges or Grayson Allen? I mean,
no. I mean, I feel like Grayson Allen really was he was getting DMPs. I feel like down the stretch last year on the Suns.
I would still hold out that there was a year this guy shot over 40% from the 3-point line, and that alone is just a risk I'm gonna take. Like, if I got a guy that can shoot 40% from three, even if he can't play defense or even if there's ball handling injuries, whatever, I just think that's a chance I'm going to take on a team that's already got Nipple on it and going to play it a certain way. I think that's a decent swing for him. Again, you said out of the rotation, Bridges is fine, but these aren't guys that I wish the Celtics had is really what I'm saying. Like, all the deals that happened here, like, I don't wish we had Ja Morant. I don't wish we had Isaiah Stewart. I wish we had Giannis and Bobby Portis in exchange for Jalen if we were going to move Jalen, but we didn't move Jalen. So now it's like, no, I don't want any of these other deals anymore. I'm over it. There's so many pieces of stuff that just don't sound good, and it's going to sabotage this season. What I'm worried about is that we're going to start the season, and it's not going to go well, and then Jalen's going to ask for out after the first rocky road we hit, which would be the first time he's ever done that. But he does have reason to do that now, and I just wondering what's going to shoot first. If we should just shoot, or if he's holding the gun to our head and just saying, like, any minute now, just anybody give me a hard time, anybody just start losing streaks, and then this is going to happen. And we could be ahead of it if we wanted to. 4 first-round picks, man? I don't think anybody's going to give us that. You think we're going to ever get that? You think 4 first-round picks in a player?
That's where it can... Like, I don't even care. I don't care about 4 first-round picks because first-round pick, like, there's such a wide, like, range on that. Like, who are we getting it from? Who's the player? It's just it's all dependent on it. So just keep me into the number, and I'm going to be happy with 4, but I'm not going to be happy with 1. It's like, well, what are we getting back? I really don't want picks. We don't need picks. We need players. We need players for this season so we can make a run at this championship. That's what we need. We need Jaylen Brown. I'm fine with a pissed off Jaylen Brown that is hearing all of this talk and internalizes it, and Maz puts his arm around him and goes, "Hey man, nobody wanted me here either. You know what? Here we go. Like, let's make something happen here."
All right,
that's what we need.
Let's close these out with some controversial players. There's rumors of Kawhi Leonard being linked to Toronto, and only Toronto, which is the only team allegedly he'll agree to signing another extension to, which is just hilarious to me. Apparently, there's some rumors he'd go to San Antonio, but let's not even entertain that. That's a fucking joke. How is this even impossible? Like, this sounds made up. This sounds like The Onion. Only Toronto? What, does he even have this power? We'll just send you wherever.
He's definitely getting older. I was surprised that Toronto, because he got out of Toronto like almost as fast as he could, and things have not worked out well in LA. I agree with you that it does not seem like he is necessarily in the spot to be able to demand this, but maybe he is because he won a championship in Toronto. So, I got to imagine the Toronto fans would love to have him back. And hey, he played well there. So maybe, but I just, after all the things that I've seen happen, I mean, can you even grow trees in Canada? Would that be a problem?
We're never going to hear anything about that again. The other funny thing of all this is there's rumors
you are going to have to hear about it.
We're never going to hear about it again.
Because you're going to hear from me.
Apparently I'm paying the consequences for Kawhi Leonard.
You are paying the consequences.
Why did I didn't do that. I'll plant a tree right now. We can do this. You want the little column A, little column B? Plant tree foundation?
Tree? Well, hold on. How much money am I getting?
This is I don't think you get any money. It's charity. The money goes somewhere else. There's no real making sense of all of this. I don't think there's ultimately ever going to be an announced punishment of any form, and that I think any team that trades for Kawhi is going to be safe, and that they should
Oh,
just.
that didn't come into my head at all. Of it's like Toronto should be concerned, like, ooh, I wonder what's going to happen there. So just more of I'm interested to see what the Clippers want to do. Want to do with that of 1 year left on his deal. $50 million. That's a lot, but just kind of what is their plan? Are they still kind of going bomber? We're going to spend. We want people in, or are they going to go reset? All right, we're going to kind of bottom out a little bit. We got to build a new team.
I have no idea, and we know so little about Kawhi Leonard, so it just tickles me that this guy has two scenarios. He wants to play near home in LA for the Clippers, or apparently wants to be a Toronto legend, where he was like, nope, I will only play for them, the team that I won a championship for. Basically just did jury duty over there and then got out of there as soon as possible.
As soon as possible.
But that's the team I want.
I think the Clippers are much more likely to be in the play-in than the Timberwolves.
They still have moves that need to be made. That team's far from done. I don't know what the value of Kawhi should be. There's rumors of Jalen going there as well. I had no idea what the deal was going to be. I couldn't piece anything together. It seemed like it would be some three-way deal where Kawhi goes somewhere. We don't even get him. No idea how that all pans out, but would you want Kawhi in Boston if he would agree to re-sign with us?
No, I don't. Over 35, weird injuries, doesn't communicate, doesn't want to live in Boston. I don't see any part of that that's like, yes, this is an improvement over Jaylen Brown.
All right, little less NBA fun talk here. Malik Beasley indicted in gambling investigation. Punishment for that one came around the corner quick. I don't think this is shocking. It's not really news. It got quiet there for a little bit. I thought maybe he'd have a chance of getting back in the league. That doesn't seem that possible now. Is this
he's in big time trouble.
Was he made an example of?
Oh, this isn't getting made an example of. I mean, this is the this is the real police coming after him. I think maybe Porter last year, maybe he got made an example of by the NBA of, hey, you're done. You're never going to play basketball again. Where this is more of, hey, you're going to go to jail. Like, I think the other wrinkle in this is that Ed Davis being involved, and not so much in they were both doing it. It was that Malik owed Ed Davis money, and Ed Davis said, this is really the only way you're going to make money, so you could pay me back. This is what I think you should do. So it just kind of opens up another wrinkle. So they started the investigation last year, right around like the same time. And so now he's been indicted. Indicted does not mean that you are guilty, but it's the big time feds, and they don't lose a lot of these. This is you're pretty they definitely have probable, I can't remember exactly, like probable, not probable cause, but they got enough that they think they can win this case. It's not good for him. I mean, it's really not good for the league. We can't be having this. You can't gamble on the sport that you're playing in.
And yet, the NFL and college football and Texas A&M and Sorsby still happening. Still doing all this.
No, it wasn't Texas A&M, and the NFL decided no supplemental draft for him.
I don't think he should be allowed to enter any draft. I think this guy just needs to take a break from it all. I don't know what the punishment should be, but
well, I mean, that's just going to happen this year. He's not going to play. He's not going to play this year, and so he's just going to work on his arm and enter the draft next year.
And that's it. That's a good enough punishment for everyone else. That's fine. This guy should be allowed to rehabilitate in this next year and continue on with an NFL career next year. No problem.
What?
No consequences for anybody. No. Didn't screw anyone else. Didn't screw a college, team, conference. Nothing. It's fine. Just go get a tan, get in shape.
What would you like the penalty to be?
I'm not sure. I don't want this guy in the league is really what I want to have happen, and I don't know any other way to go about it. I don't like what happened. I just don't think it's being talked about as if it was a big deal, and there's still prospect of this guy being an actual player, and I think that's a joke. I don't want a teammate that's gambled.
I think that's a fair reaction.
I don't want a teammate that's gambled on a game. I will never trust you. I think it's too easily accessed so that once you jump over that line to be like, oh, I just won't jump over again. I just think you'll never know. And mistakes happen, and you can be frustrated with teammates. I just think in the back of my mind, I don't ever want that to be Oh, man, did he screw that up because of blank? I don't ever want to think that.
It's very fair. It's a fair, like I said, it's a fair reaction.
So that's all wrapped up. Blake Beasley, man, we could have used him. Shit, we could use a rebounder. Ed Davis would be another one. He'd be perfect. We don't just straight rebounds. Not going to happen. All right, NFL, just continuing with some silly news here. Which one do you want to go with first as a little closeout here because we're running out of time? Any of these short stories?
One of them is, I mean, I don't think either of them are necessarily silly. Terry and Arnold, bail was set at $1 million. He got cut today was playing for the Detroit Lions. So apparently the story on this is that he got robbed. He got upset, understandably. I think he went to the police, decided that they weren't getting the job done. He got a hold of, I'm not sure if it was somebody that he was dating or somebody he was friends with, some ladies, got them to text these guys that he thought robbed him, that texted the guys to say, hey, come on over, we can have some fun. They came over, and then we have armed robbery, we have kidnapping, and it sure sounds like these weren't even the guys that robbed him. So I don't know if he messed up or what sort of happened there, but this dude, he faces up to life in prison. So yeah, not it's goofy, I guess kind of goofy, but it's not necessarily silly. Like this is very, very serious.
Sounds very serious. He's not going to play again, I imagine.
I think we're at the point of it's not so much of a, hey, is he going to play football again? Is he going to be free, not in prison at any time in the near future?
Well, on that note, we'll remind everyone to subscribe. Little column A, little column B. You can get us wherever you follow your podcasts, and you can follow Zach on his X account, which is
Wicked Z-Man 24.
All right, we got 60 seconds to get out of here. World Cup, on to the 32, where the tournament has started. How are you feeling? You ready for US? We going to do it?
It's going to be right before I leave the country, so it's going to be a great way to just kind of hopefully put a stamp on, all right, United States won. That'd be awesome. Don't want to get too much in the nitpicky of the soccer stuff, but it's not just me that's thought about this. It's crazy how the VAR system is just so very, very precise. You just a little smidge past. Nope, no good. All right, cool. That's the rules. But then we get to the end of the game, and it's just kind of it's around. It's around the end of the game. I mean, you said buzzer beater. I heard some other people say buzzer beater. It's like, is it a buzzer beater if you don't know when the time ended? So it's just, I am sure somebody else could nitpick and go, well, in American football, you do this and that's very precise, and this is not so precise. But it's just, I'm watching some more of the knockout. I like the whole thing where there's going to be a winner at the end. It just doesn't. I don't watch for 2 hours and then it ends 1-1. It's like someone is going to win, someone is going to lose, someone is going to have to go home. I don't know if you heard. I think it was Uruguay. They having some trouble getting home. The country said, "You are a disgrace. You are not taking the charter flight home." And then other teams get to move on. So I'll continue to kind of keep an eye on it.
Wow, they must really care about it if they were that disappointed that they told the team to find their own way home. It must be really important to them.
Must be. Imagine not making the round of 32. Couldn't be my team.
Imagine watching 3.5 hours of football with 90% of commercials, and that still ends in a tie. Yeah, defend that one, buddy. Go ahead. We'll be back next week. Little column A,
prefer zero
little column B. They still allow it. It's the same sport.
No ties.
Little column A, little column B.